Bueno, gente, ¿cómo estáis? Espero que se escuche bien esto porque estoy grabando con el OBS. No sé si lo veréis, pero bueno. Ahora lo veréis en pausa, pero vale. Estamos grabando, perfecto. Espero que se escuche de verdad, porque estoy grabando esto, a ver si... Ahora pruebo a ver si se escucha bien y vuelvo. Sin más, estamos en el Blues and Bullets, en el episodio 1. No hay perdón, o se acabó el perdón. No, no hay paz. O se acabó la paz, no me acuerdo. Tenemos que ir a por Capone. Otra vez.
What happened here?
Nothing to worry about, my good man. What happens on the Hindenburg
Como en Las
stays
Vegas.
on the Hindenburg.
Ley.
Are you saying the law doesn't apply here?
We're too high up, my good man. The law has always preferred to look down.
Ética.
How can you work in a place like this?
You don't want to know where I worked before this, my good man.
Policía.
You never had problems with the police?
Oh, many a one, my good man. In fact, what I'm cleaning up is today's first problem.
Comprendo, buen hombre. Bueno, continuamos. Hoy ya acabo el juego, O sea, yo voy a jugar ya de golpe y me acabo el juego. No sé cuántos vídeos grabaré. Pero hoy lo acabo. Ya veremos cuánto me dura esto. Bonito escenario. Un momentín. Vale. Es que nunca grabo bien el OBS, entonces tengo que vigilar un poco el tema. De momento guay. A ver si no se laguea como el flash, porque vaya. La mató, creo, no sé. A ver, ¿qué le va a este día?
I'm sorry.
Ah, claro, es el de antes. Es que le has despistado, tío. Le has despistado y claro, pasa lo que pasa, ¿no? Bueno, fijaos en el color rojo, Hasta en los zapatos de esta señora se ve que está más... No sé qué le pasa a este juego con el color rojo. Pero se ve, todo lo que es rojo se ve más, o sea, está colorido. Además en blanco y negro. Y mola mucho además. A ver.
If it wasn't for my habit of checking all possible exits when I walk into the lion's den, I'd be a dead man. You should be rotting in jail.
That's exactly what I've been doing for the last 19 and a half years. You'd be surprised what a little good behavior can do for a person. You're not gonna ask me for my last words this time? I'm a lot closer to death than when I last saw you. As are you.
Objetivo.
Why did you ask me here?
Why did you come?
Curiosidad.
I wanted to see if you'd improved with age. I'm glad to see the answer's no.
When you said rot in jail, you really meant it, huh? Look, I didn't ask you here to find out who's got the snappiest comebacks. I want to hire you.
What?
I require your services as a detective.
Desconfianza.
What's your game? Who do you take me for?
Look, Ness. My granddaughter Sophia has been kidnapped. When what happened to my son, Vittorio, I put her in a boarding school. She was entered under a false surname, Colombo. Nobody knows who she is.
Nobody?
Only Milton, the man who brought you here. I trust him completely. 2 days ago, a guy turned up at the boarding school. He introduced himself as Guido Colombo, the girl's uncle, and her new legal guardian. He said her parents had just died in a tragic automobile accident. He produced all the relevant papers, driver's license, the custody document supposedly made out by the father, the death certificates. He explained away the fact that the girl didn't know him by saying he moved to Seattle before she was born.
Any clues?
Well, Sophia was wearing a blue dress with flowers that I personally ordered for her from Italy. She was also wearing white ballet shoes with daisies embroidered on them. As for the guy, the school principal said he was tall and slim, in his 50s. No particular accent. Black hair, no beard, no glasses. Well dressed. Could be anyone. But I know he was hired by one of my old associates. Someone wants to finish me once and for all. Maybe they want control of what's left of my organization. Maybe they hate my guts.
And I thought I was the only one who still hated you after 20 years. What else have you got?
I got this. And I got you.
You don't have me. My place is at my diner. And your girl's not there.
Huh. So where should I be looking?
A ver. En la mafia.
You were the biggest boss in the Mafia. And by the looks of this place, you didn't lose everything. Why don't you ask one of your subordinates for help?
You don't listen, do you? The kidnapper was hired by one of my men. One of the people I trust.
So why me?
20 years ago, I pushed you to the edge. I bought your friends and killed the ones who couldn't be bought. I got you so obsessed with me that your wife ended up leaving you. When you had nothing left, you walked into my house, shot my bodyguards, and pointed a gun at me. You could have killed me. But you chose to restrain yourself. You even gave my son a lecture on ethics. You're the only honest man I know.
Por ella.
I'll do it. Not for you. For her.
I knew I got the right guy.
But I want something in return.
As you can see, I'm not
Tu
short of
muerte.
money. Ask. I won't haggle.
Exilio. No. Nación.
You give your entire fortune to the Santa Esperanza Hospice.
That won't be difficult. I've been donating to them for decades. And I don't need the money anymore. I don't give a damn what happens to me, Ness. You just save Sophia. And you can start by investigating
Carlo Boccarini.
How did you know?
Biggest forger in Santa Esperanza. Wouldn't surprise me if Sophia's so-called uncle's papers were made by him. Besides, he's been cursing your name ever since we put you in jail.
Hey, I treated him like a son.
After you killed his parents.
They were selling booze without my permission. Wait, you know where to find them?
I have a good contact at the station. A girl. Rookie. Straight arrow. Reliable.
A girl? You saying you trust her?
You are such a chauvinist. Do you trust me?
Deal? That's a spirit.
Bueno. Veamos qué pasa aquí.
Keep Milton informed at all times, huh? You hear me?
I
All right.
know you from somewhere.
Cargando.
Not gonna ask me for my last words.
You should be right. I'm never going to help you. Why me?
I'm not asking you to help me.
I'm not a cop. I'll do it. Not for you. For her.
Se tormenta, Se tormenta mucho. A ver. Ah, puedo moverlo, joder.
This town has become a jungle.
Qué guay, ¿no?
Where not even the rats are safe. Those who swore to protect us fight us.
Qué chulo, tío. Toma un huevo.
We have left. And those who should judge them prefer to squabble over their prey. It wasn't always like this. The Santa Esperanza I was born in was a clean town. A place where it meant something to be a cop.
Ah, hostia, qué guapo, chaval.
Until he arrived.
Anda que no mola el puto juego, tío. Joder, qué pasada. Vamos, recarga.
He took everything I had, but in the end I sent him to hell.
Gel. Dios, qué burrada, tío.
Rebuilt my life. Got my feet back on the ground. But now he's back,
Mira el restaurante.
and he's dragged me in.
Hostia, qué chulo, tío. Me gusta.
I'm gonna need help.
Nah, zumo. Venga. Sí, señor. Aquí sanos o nada, tío. Responder.
Ness,
Elliot, I found Carlo Boccarini.
I knew you would, Alice.
Write this down. 31 Wicker Avenue in Lakeview.
Thanks. Nice work.
Elliot, what do you want with him? He's got a hell of a file.
En teoría, ella es de confianza, ¿verdad? Así que, la verdad.
I think he's mixed up in a kidnapping, but my client doesn't want the police involved.
What are you getting yourself into? Who's your client?
Alice, I don't have much time. I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks. Tomorrow's going to be a long, long day.
Bueno, me mola mucho esa parte, Joder.
"31 Wicker Avenue. This is it."
You sure?
I'm sure.
At last. That stench of stale grease about you reminds me too much of my old job.
Ah,
You worked as a waiter?
I was a chef. And not in any old kitchen. At the maximum security penitentiary on Gore Island. Can't think of a better way to do time. And how do you think I met Alphonse? Playing golf?
Alphonse.
On the subject of cooking, I know your blueberry pie had an extra something. I still don't know what.
Alphonse?
So what now? You got a plan?
Take a look around, in case there's a rear exit. I'll take the main door.
My pleasure.
contacta con Boccherini. Vale, vamos adentro.
The fact that a criminal like him can hang up his shingle in broad daylight says a lot about Santa Esperanza. took out sections of the fence. Odd.
Bueno, vamos adentro ya. Son gnomos.
Interesting taste. Been centuries since a gardener visited this house. Maybe Boccarini's business isn't going too well.
Vale, el timbre. Vaya ando de mala muerte. Timbre. No funciona, ¿verdad?
The bell doesn't work. I guess Boccarini doesn't get many visitors.
Pues suave.
Boccarini? Carlo Boccarini?
Nothing of interest out back. Sorry. You better come see this, Mr. Ness.
What is it?
Sangre.
I don't know how to describe it.
Se ha matado, ¿verdad? Correcto. Bueno. Hay muchos puntos de carga, la verdad que... joder. Hay mucha carga y poca escena, o sea, dura poca la escena, la verdad. Pero mola mucho el juego. Joder, macho.
Is that our man?
Boccarini.
My God.
Joder.
We have to find out who did this and why. Let's go.
You're the detective, Mr. Ness. Besides, Alfonso will want to see this. I'll be right back.
All right. I have to establish how Boccarini died. Maybe the
Asesinato.
body parts can shed some light on the motive.
Mutilación. ¿Y esto? Resuelve la investigación del asesinato. What the fuck?
Holy Christ, what the hell are we up against?
Joder, chaval. No se pasan, ¿no?
His eyes were pulled clean out of their sockets. Whoever did this, it wasn't their first time. And if they committed any other murders like this, it's likely that the police found some of the bodies. I must remember to ask Alice. His teeth were all pulled out before he was killed.
Joder.
The buildup of blood inside his mouth speaks for itself.
2-5.
Pity he won't last till Christmas, because he'd almost pass for a tree. There's no doubt the murderer took his time.
Qué burrada, tío.
This isn't a cut, it's a tear. His hands were ripped off.
Oh, tío.
Who has that kind of strength?
Joder. What?
Once he got stuck in there,
El culo de un vaso. ¿Qué me estás contando, tío?
it's Boccarini, no doubt about that. Although the one I remember was more together.
Joder, tío. Tablón. Tengo pistas ya, ¿no? ¿O no? ¿Hay más pistas? A ver, ¿cómo salgo de...? Pistas por aquí no ponía.
The blood comes from the other side of the corridor and ends next to the body. He was attacked in the other room and dragged to the hall.
¿Cómo se pasan, tío? Vale. Han entrado por ahí.
Suggests that the events began in the lounge.
Sí, han entrado por aquí, no parece.
Boccarini encounter his murderer.
Asalto. Vale.
Whatever crushed the table must have been really heavy. Or maybe it was thrown extremely hard. A perfectly circular dent, as if someone had tried to hammer in a gigantic bolt, around 4 inches in diameter. claws scratched the wood.
Qué guapo, tío.
Blood ran like water.
Otra pista. Un reloj. Manchado de sangre.
Did it break during the struggle, or was it already broken? What kind of person takes off a wristwatch without unfastening it? Or fastens the strap again after taking it off?
Curioso.
Blood. Blood everywhere.
Wow. Otra pista.
This was opened recently.
Otra pista.
Smells of whiskey.
Otra pista, madre mía. Bueno, cuántas pistas.
Glass on the floor indicates the window was broken from outside.
Una
There's
pistola.
something under there.
Es un revólver.
How did it wind up under there?
A ver.
Not one round.
Tiene todas las balas.
It must have happened fast.
Muchas pistas, veo. A ver el tablón. Bueno.
A broken whiskey glass found in the dining
Ah, tengo que elegir yo.
Boccarini's teeth were all pulled out.
¿No?
An open bottle of whiskey.
Vale, se la pongo.
What looks like the bottom of a
¿No?
piece
A
of
suertes, ¿no?
glass from the window in the hall.
Vale.
Found inside the house. A
Revólver.
pistol, fully loaded.
Vale.
I'd say Boccarini was drinking in the dining room when his assailant burst in through the window. Boccarini pulled his gun, but the murderer disarmed him before he could shoot. Where did the torture begin?
¿Dónde empezó la tortura? Esto es un poca coña, ¿verdad?
A broken table, scratched and covered in
Vale.
blood.
Un reloj. No, aquí.
A broken whiskey glass found
No.
in the dining room.
Es un pocas fuertes, ¿verdad? Porque no sé bien dónde está.
With the glass broken and the strap found. What looks like the bottom of a
No.
broken. Two pools of blood.
Vale, tortura.
The bloodstains show that the murderer began to torture Boccarini on the dining table itself. That was where his hands were torn off. As a result, his wristwatch fell to the ground. How did the body reach its current position?
¿Cómo llegó el cadáver a su ubicación actual? ¿Cómo llegó el cadáver?
The trail
aquí?
of blood from the dining room to the hall.
Luego lo... Esto es las pistas.
Broken whiskey
No.
glass found in what
Esto.
looks like the bottom of a
Tampoco. Bueno. Esto.
Boccarini's teeth were all
Tampoco. Ay, Dios. Pues esto, venga, solo queda esta.
Boccarini's hands off.
¿Tampoco? What? Ah, me falta algo. Me falta algo, ¿verdad? Vale. Asesinato, mutilación. A ver. Esto ya está. Falta esto.
What
A
looks
ver.
like the bottom of a broken
Las fuertes, tío. Es que no hay más.
whiskey glass. The murderer tore
Mutilación
Boccarini's
es esta.
hands off.
Y luego esta.
Boccarini's teeth were all pulled out, hands ripped off, teeth torn out. I guess I'll have to rule out criminal intent or a personal angle. Boccarini's eyes still haven't shown up. What if I look for whatever was used to remove them?
¿Cómo se lo sacaron?
Broken
¿Esto?
whiskey glass found
No.
in what looks like the bottom of a broken.
Tampoco, vale. Me quedan más pistas, vale, vale. Linchamiento y ojos, vale. Sigo investigando.
What is it with Italians and olives? They lap those things up like caviar. Like a true bachelor, he should have put these into soak. Hours of scraping to get them clean. Although at this stage, I don't think Boccarini's too worried about that. 4 glasses. 2 of water, 2 of wine. I've always been a whiskey man, but I know a good wine when I see one.
Vale.
Leftover lasagna, and it looks good.
Una más,
Why
¿no?
is it that 2 out of 3 Italian gangsters are great cooks? I'll never understand what the deal is with them and cooking. The plates and the glasses leave no room for doubt. Boccherini had company for dinner.
Interesante, nueva pista. Vale, cuchillos. Están todos en su sitio, ¿verdad? No, falta uno. Moverse con esto. Ah, vale. Falta uno.
One knife's missing.
El más grande.
Biggest one.
Vale. A ver, tablón. Tengo algo más. El hinchamiento aún no, ¿no? Aún no tengo nada más, parece. A ver. Esto no es verdad.
Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware from a dinner for
No,
two.
obviamente no es. Sigamos.
Shut from the inside.
Una pista. ¿Cuál? A ver... Vamos por aquí a ver qué hay. ¿Qué pista tengo? La puerta cerrada. Linchamiento. Ah, igual le linchan. Igual le pegaron en... No, no.
A door in the kitchen, blocked.
No, obviamente no. Nada. Me he dejado algo por aquí. Seguro. Me he dejado algo por aquí seguro. A ver... No, no me he dejado nada. Puede ser, tío. Me he dejado algo seguro. Ah,
Takes a strong man to tear that out. Or several.
una pista. A ver.
The lamp, torn off its brackets and blocking the stairs.
¿Eso qué es?
The lamp, torn off its...
Ah, vale. No, de momento no. Vamos por aquí a ver. ¿Cerrado?
Jammed shut from the inside. Maybe between the two of us when Milton gets back.
Vale.
If I'm not mistaken, this door opens onto the same room as the locked door in the kitchen.
Buah, pista. ¿Eso qué es? ¡Oh, ya sé! Con esto se quitan los ojos.
Blood and
Sí.
some kind of sticky liquid.
Esto en los ojos. Vale, vale. Entendido. A ver, ojos. No, esto no. Postura, salto, hechos... ¿No puedo subir arriba o qué? No, no me deja. A ver, atrás. Ahí. Con la cuchara.
A teaspoon stained with blood and some kind of sticky
Correcto.
liquid. The mixture of sticky liquid and blood can only mean one thing. The spoon was used to remove
Dios, una
Boccherini's
cuchara, tío.
eyes.
Ah, qué mal rollo.
The mutilations and the disappearance of his eyes suggest two possible motives. Psychopathy or cultist
Motivo.
fanaticism. Which is it?
Psicopatía. Psicopatía, seguro.
What looks like the bottom of a broken
No?
glass buried
A
in
ver.
Boccherini's dirty plates, glasses, and silverware.
Tampoco.
The lamp,
Psicopatía. Tampoco, what? A
a
ver.
door in the kitchen,
No.
a broken whiskey glass.
Ninguna, what the fuck. Vale, pues nada. Toca seguir investigando. Esto es gigante, eh. Hostia puta.
I should have stayed in my diner.
Qué mal rollo, tío. ¿Qué dices, loco? Qué mal rollo, por favor, Qué puto mal rollo, tío. Esto es psicopatía seguro, vamos. Dios. Ah, tío,
Are these
no.
teeth from the body?
Los dientes.
Well, at least I know why his teeth were pulled out, more
¿Qué
or
me estás
less.
comentando, colega? Venga, tío.
What is that?
Es un logo. Un símbolo de algo. Alguna pista importante.
Looks like a ritual. What was Baccarini mixed up in?
Tío, está mal relleno lo siguiente. A ver, el motivo. Psicopatía, punto.
Altar of human flesh.
Ahí está. Y lee el logo.
Symbol drawn in blood, although I don't know the origin of the
Joder,
symbol
chaval.
on the altar of flesh and teeth. I'd say the motive was some kind of occult religion. The big question is, who did it?
¿Quién lo hizo? Pues algún enfermo de la cabeza, seguro. Falta linchamiento, tío. No sé qué cojones falta ahí. Linchamiento, es que no sé.
A door in the corridor jammed shut. It opens onto the
De momento no nada. Dios, qué mal rollo, tío. Vamos aquí. Por favor. Por favor.
This car looks too classy for a forger like Baccarini. Are there sufficient reasons to believe that when the murderer attacked
Hostia.
Baccarini, there was someone else in the house? The first possibility to be ruled out is that the car belonged to Baccarini.
Vale, coche. Vamos a investigarlo.
Let's take a look in the glove compartment.
La guantera, a ver.
Bingo. A man's cigarette case.
Una billetera. ¿Cómo se abre esto, tío? Ah, por aquí.
OB. One of the Baccarini clan?
Un cigarrillo, ¿verdad? A ver, coche. Cigarrillos.
The initials OB on a cigarette case.
De momento eso. Qué mal rollo fue lo de las manos, tío, Joder.
Vermont plates.
Matrícula.
Someone drove a long way.
45.003. A ver.
A
Matrícula.
car with Vermont plates.
Bien, tenemos el coche.
1. It has Vermont plates. 2. It's too luxurious for a criminal of his standing. 3. The initials on the cigarette case don't match his name. The next possibility that needs to be ruled out is that the car was stolen. There should be evidence that there was someone else in the house.
Invitado, vale. Bueno, el invitado debería poner esto.
Dirty plates, glasses, and
Sí.
silverware from a dinner for the dirty dishes and glasses prove that Baccarini ate lasagna with one other person. Was Baccarini's guest still in the house when the murderer showed up?
Seguían en la casa.
A door in the kitchen, locked from the inside. It
No
opens
sé.
onto the same room as
Seguramente
the
lo
jail.
del linchamiento
A
veremos
door in the
después.
corridor jammed shut.
De momento no puedo hacer
It
nada.
opened a lamp. What looks like the bottom of a
Vale.
broken glass, buried in a broken whiskey glass,
Vale.
found in the dining room. It seems clear that Baccarini and his guest were drinking when the murderer took them by surprise. The real question is, what happened to the witness?
¿Dónde?
Did they escape? Did the murderer take
Fácil.
them?
En el,
Or are they still in the house?
en el desván. O sea, en... Un momento. Aquí pasó, ¿no?
Kitchen, locked from the
Exactamente.
inside.
Y luego aquí.
A door in the corridor jammed
Fácil.
shut. One locked door could be a coincidence, but two locked doors which open onto the same room can't be. Either I'm completely wrong, or the witness is in that room. But I need Milton to open one of those doors.
Así viene Milton, tío. Bueno, solo me queda el linchamiento que se da en la puerta esta famosa, ¿no? ¿Eso o me equivoco yo? A ver, un momento.
The lamp, torn off its
Ah, mira.
brackets and blocking Baccarini,
Ya está.
already minus hands, was dragged into the hall, where the murderer used the brackets of the lamp to complete his macabre diorama.
Pues ya está, hecho. Ahora falta Milton.
Mr. Ness, can you open the door for me?
Es que da completamente mal rollo esta parte, de verdad. Mira que no soy yo de muchos juegos así de
It was open. Why
psicología.
did you ring?
I thought I should use the doorbell so I wouldn't startle you.
When I came in, I pressed the doorbell and it didn't work.
Well, in light of the facts, I deduced that it was your finger that wasn't working.
Muchas fotos ahí.
So, what can you tell me to restore my faith in you as a detective?
What is that?
Not a good start. It's a camera, so Alphonse can see all this.
All right. Follow me. Boccarini had company for dinner. Someone from Vermont with the initials OB. Someone whose social status was a lot higher, but who was on the same side of the law. He served lasagna, and after clearing away the dishes, they opened a bottle of whiskey in the dining room. That was when the murderer burst in on them, coming through the window which he broke with his own body weight. Boccarini, or maybe his guest, pulled a gun, but it was a waste of time. The murderer was so fast he was disarmed before he could fire. He focused his attention on Boccarini, totally ignoring the guest, and lifted him up into the air. He then threw him against the dining room table so hard that one of the glasses of whiskey was embedded in Boccarini's back. He span around, clawing at the table, and immediately afterwards the murderer ripped off his hands. I have no idea how he did it, but all the evidence suggests he just pulled. Blood sprayed everywhere. The wristwatch fell to the ground. He dragged him through the corridor into the hall. He tore down the lamp, hung him from the brackets, and stabbed steel rods through his body. He skewered him on the iron bars, possibly taken from the fence outside, and pulled out his teeth one by one. Then he pulled his teeth out one by one as he died. Finally, he scooped out his eyes with a teaspoon. Boccarini must have been dead when the murderer went to the bathroom with his hands in his teeth. There, he arranged them to make an altar, weaving the fingers together and placing the teeth inside. Next, he painted something on the wall in blood, a symbol which I don't recognize, but which could have some kind of ritualistic significance. When he'd finished his artwork, he left. I don't know what he did with the eyes.
You're telling me that someone did all this armed with a teaspoon?
More or less.
And you worked all this out on your own, just by looking?
More or less.
I don't know which of the two of you scares me more. Wait a second. What about the guest?
Right. Come with me.
Verás tú lo que nos encontramos aquí dentro. Seguro que ha puesto al invitado con los ojos ahí. A saber, tío, es que me da un miedo de saberlo.
Nothing.
Turns out Mr. Untouchable isn't infallible. But you were close. Congratulations.
This must be Boccarini's office. Let's take a quick look around.
All yours.
Me da un poco de mal rollo, ¿verdad, O sea, ya en serio, tengo mal rollo ahora mismo, No sé qué vamos a encontrarnos, me da un miedo saberlo, tío. A ver. ¿Dónde puede estar lo más gordo de esta parte? A ver, vamos a ver.
Carlo, I have the goods for OB, but I have to take the children to school tomorrow and I can't make the meetup. Friday, same time, same place. It's signed NI.
Mm-hmm. These initials are getting to be a pain in the ass, right?
I have to take the kids to school tomorrow. I don't think this is some loving divorced daddy, Milton.
I take back what I just said.
A ver, ¿qué más por aquí?
The driver's license of one John Martinson and Osmond Burke. OB.
Do we know him?
The eldest son of the richest family in Vermont, convicted rapist. He was arrested thanks to the testimony of his father, who wound up disinheriting him. He escaped from prison last week. He broke into the family home and slit the throats of all his relatives one by one, opened the safe, and got away with a fortune.
They don't make jails like they used to.
A ver, ¿qué más? Un maletín. Una y otra abierta. Verás. Billetes.
Jesus. There's at least $1 million.
$1 millón de dólares, por lo menos. Oh.
Boccarini's?
I'd be surprised. Probably his guests, and I doubt it was to pay Boccarini for his services. None of his forgeries are worth that much.
All starting to add up, isn't it?
Hostia puta. El asesino, tío. Ese. ¡Oh, me ha dado! Se le va a ese. A ver, hostia puta, qué mal rollo, chaval.
All starting to add up, isn't it?
Pues qué cojones, tío. Psicótico. Totalmente psicótico, tío. Milton, tío, haz algo.
You're doing fine on your own, Mr. Ness. I believe in you.
Confía en mí, dice. Me jodas, hombre. Estoy enfermo de la cabeza, tío. Dios.
Get out of my way, I said! He's coming back!
Who's coming back?
Him! The monster!
The guy who killed Boccarini?
He was a monster! Oh, get your hands off me, Negro!
What was he like? Describe him for me.
It was a monster.
Dios.
Red and black. I mean, his head reached the ceiling. He tore off his hands with his claws! It was a monster! A monster!
Should I hit him again?
Sí, vale.
You're Osmond Burke, right?
Yes.
Good. Now pay attention, Burke, because I have a question for you.
Documentos.
Who is John Martinson?
I am.
Ah, Boccarini created a new identity for you. And I'll bet that under those bandages there's a new face, fresh from surgery.
Nota.
Who wrote this note?
Nikolai Ivankov.
Rings a bell.
One of Capone's right-hand men 20 years ago. What does this stuff about kids mean?
I don't know.
Calm down, Burke. You were going to meet up with him, right?
Yes, at the docks, berth 42, right next to where the alligator 3 is moored.
So what's the meetup time?
Tomorrow at noon.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? No, it's going to be tonight.
Wow, tío, qué parte más jodida, macho.
Don't get too comfortable. We'll be there in no time.
Restaurante.
There are certain types of people I don't allow in my diner. But today, I have no choice but to make an exception.
I'm afraid not, Mr. Ness. I have to take him to Alphonse.
Out of the question. I know his temper. He'll beat him to a pulp.
Listen, if the missing girl was your granddaughter, you wouldn't forgive me if I didn't let you see the only suspect who could lead us to her.
Okay.
Shucks.
What?
I thought that bloodbath would cover up the smell of stale grease. I was wrong.
Al caer la noche. Pues no tenía ni idea de que este juego llegaba a dar tan mal rollo, de verdad, hostia puta. No soy yo mucho de juegos así de tanto...
Elliot?
Ah, Delphine.
Oh, thank God you're here. The lights were off, so I thought that... I'm sorry. I got out of the hospital late, then I went to the station to pick up Jim's check, and when they told me... I'm scared.
Of what?
What are you drinking?
Zumo.
It's only juice. Juice and nothing else.
Breathe on me. You heard me. I'm sorry. It hasn't been a good day.
What's
Si es
happened?
que...
No! You knew!
Knew about what?
What's that gun doing there?
Secreto.
I'd love to tell you, but I can't. It's better you don't get involved.
You know, don't you?
No, I don't know. And if you keep up the guessing games, I'll never know.
He's back.
Who?
¿Quién?
Him!
¿Quién es él?
I don't know why it still surprises me, but it's incredible that you were such a good detective, and yet you've never been able to understand people. Capone got out of jail.
Where'd you hear that?
Chief Jenkins.
Chief Jenkins. The same guy who said he was going to clean up Santa Esperanza, right? In that case, you can rest assured Capone just put on his striped pajamas, and in 4 minutes' time, he'll be snoring in his cell.
Elliot, what if it's true? If he's out, what's the first thing he's going to do? Who does he hate more than anyone?
Superioridad.
Let him come. He'll find the fastest waiter in Santa Esperanza. Before he can pull his gun, I'll have him dead drunk.
Please, Elliot, don't joke. You're the only part of Jim's life that I have left. If you put yourself in danger,
Hombro.
I'm fine. Thanks.
Cocina.
My hand? I burnt it cooking. Fried eggs are the devil's work.
What's going on, Elliot? We're closed.
Milton.
Can you wait outside for a couple of minutes, Milton?
Sure, of course. Although, I'm sorry to say, but we're short on time.
Elliot,
El caso.
Come in, Milton, come in. Delphine, I'll tell you later. Now...
you said you'd never treat me like that again. I'm glad I could confirm that you're okay.
Sonríe.
No, and it's none of your business.
Sorry to butt in. I've brought your rapist costume for the party.
¿De violador para la fiesta? What the fuck? Buf.
Seriously, you're not...
No, she's the wife of a friend who died in the line of duty, Jim Dockers.
Alphonse told me about him.
Your Alphonse killed him.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Ness. Although he's not the same man he was. Anyway, isn't the deal with marriage until death do us part?
It's not that simple. There are other factors.
La amistad.
Delphine and I have been friends a long time, and I don't have many friends. I can't risk losing her.
Right. So you like her, but you don't have the nerve.
Oh yeah? What would you do?
Women have never been one of my priorities.
I'm sorry.
Forget it. Shit. You screwed Alphonse good, didn't you?
I don't think he holds it against me this far down the line. He's a new man now, right?
Did you enjoy it?
Deber.
I'm a cop. Correction, I was a cop. You do the job you're given. End of story.
I hear you. But you didn't finish the next job they gave you. Did they find those kids?
No. How do I look?
¿En serio?
Like the invisible man in the movie. No one's gonna buy it.
Take it easy. Everything's going to work out fine.
Vamos como el tío este... Wow. Bueno, pues llevo ya un buen rato de vídeo, no sé cuánto queda de juego, la verdad. No tengo ni idea, sinceramente. Esto se laguea un poco porque está cargando. Sinceramente dudo que quede mucho más de juego, la verdad. Pero bueno, voy a comprobarlo ahora.
So, everything's gonna work out fine, huh? You sure it's here?
Relax. It's just a little further. Just follow me.
Acude a tu cita con Ivankov. Un momento.